Hi, everyone. How's it going? I'm a little scattered this morning. I realized my stream was all screwed up, so I had to stop it and then start it again. You know how it is. Anyways, what are we doing today? So today I have Docker running. Let me get that out of the way. We should have a little site here. Yes, we do. I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff with my advanced query loop plugin, specifically around testing. I was messing around with this yesterday, and an issue came in that is very hard to test. Where is it? Let me just show you here.
Oh, you made a wise choice, my friend.
Thank you, Joelle, for the sub. Appreciate you. Appreciate you a lot. Joelle. This right here. Okay, so this in here, gods, I hate writing test code. Hated writing test code. Yeah, it's not fun. But it's hard to set up. That's the good part. So there's a couple of tests that you can. So with WordPress plugins specifically, I mean, there's like unit testing, there's integration testing, there's end-to-end testing, there's whatever testing. So historically, when people would say unit tests in core, what they'd end up doing is it's actually more of an integration test. They would run all of these tests against a database, and they would be able to insert data, and they would be able to check things. So the issue that this person is running into is that I have some filters in my advanced query loop plugin that allow people to extend it themselves. So if they want to add their own extension, I've got an example of how to do that somewhere in my repos, which I can't find the button for. There it is, my repositories. There we go. So like I have this extension, and it kind of lays out how to do it. So you can see it in how to extend things, which is right here. I'm probably linking to the wrong place. So basically what you do is you can add your own thing. So there's some slots, and then there's some filters. There's specifically an AQL query bars filter. So there's two parts to it. You have to add the extension. It's like the UI for the extension. So whatever it is that you want to add to it. What? I don't know what. Carolina, what are you saying in chat? I don't understand. Anyways, it sounds like a good thing. Did Titus do something good? If he did something good, then let's give him an awesome.
I am madly in love with you.
If he didn't, then whatever. But either way, Carolina, you're awesome.
I am madly in love with you.
No worries. Hi, welcome. We're not doing theme stuff today, but I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for showing up. So anyways, so basically there's oh, you gifted subs? I didn't get any alert that you gifted subs.
Oh great, it's Tudus in Atlantis.
Tudus in Atlantis. I gotta do an alert for that. I was not aware that happened, so I will have to do that. Thank you for gifting that. Sorry, I didn't get the notification. Oh, what is this? The Burly Earl. 100 bits. Thanks. Thank you, Burly Earl. It's a great name. It's a great name, Burly Earl. Just testing. Oh, that's very fitting for what we're doing today. Testing, so we're testing. Okay, anyway, so the issue that this person was running into was they were saying that like it overwrites stuff. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to add a new taxonomy query. It really doesn't really matter because the issue at hand is for testing this is very difficult because I need to test using a core piece of code. And unfortunately, that's not really easy to do because unit tests, stereotypical unit tests, don't test. They just test chunks of code. So these are some unit tests that I have running for various things in my theme or my plugin. I'm sorry. So like for example, I want to test the data range and relationship are discrete for some date query tests. So you have to set up all of this test data and then you want to run it. But the thing is, if I were to add like an add filter or apply filters in this, it would break because apply filters is part of WordPress core and it's not part of my testing suite. So I can mock it. I can absolutely mock it. But then I'm sort of faking it. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to add integration tests that allow me to do things like this. So like I can actually add the filter that exists. And then I can apply those filters in line as well, and then I can do some testing.
Oh, great. It's FedEx speed.
Oh, there he is. There's a little Kevin. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of mocking of WordPress going on right now. But so I spent some time yesterday trying to get this set up because it's actually surprisingly harder to get this set up than I wanted it to be, because you need to have a database. So let me just backtrack. So the thing is, we have PHP, we have unit tests, which are just testing units of code, small pieces of code that, well, not necessarily small pieces of code, but like I just want to test one particular thing, right? I want to test that the code that I'm writing works, and I don't care about anything else around it. But an integration test is when you want to test your code in a system. And so that's what I was working on setting up. So I'll kind of take you through it. Some of it is unclear to me how it's working. So we're going to, I'm not extending the core tests. What I'm doing is there's a couple of moving parts here. Troy Chaplin is here and Titus in Atlantis. What is happening? Troy's doubling up. Or did we change his name? Change your name? I'm not going to use Playground. I'm using WP-ENV right now for this because I have that set up locally as part of my repository. Anyways, so like I'm already logged in here, or I'm not logged in here. Pay no attention to what. Get out of here! Stop that. So I'm using WP-ENV. So WP-ENV actually provides a couple of environments. So if you spin it up, let me just get this open. So you can probably read that. So we have a development site started at localhost *888, and then we have a test site at 8889. And so the point of this is that we always need to have, so to run integration tests, stereotypically with core, you always need a database. Right, so that's what this is for. So this is, so if we look at some of the documentation around this stuff, you can get into this run command, and so the run command allows you to run it on multiple. There's a bunch of different containers happening. So for example, there's a CLI container, there's a test CLI container, there's MySQL, so MySQL is for the MySQL of like the development site. The test MySQL is, as you could probably guess, for the tests database. And there's WordPress, there's test WordPress, there's CLI, there's test CLI, there's Composer, there's my PHP MyAdmin, and so on and so forth. So what you can end up doing here is you can run all kinds of fun stuff in there. And so I have you can run CLI commands, for example, like if you wanted to pop. So one thing that I did yesterday was, there's apparently a new version of Advanced Query Loop, which I released yesterday. Go download it right now. I'll wait. No, it's not. It's not the same as WP Now. That's a really great question. I'm just gonna spotlight that.
It's Ultus
Oh,
original.
no. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do. Spotlight message. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Why isn't it working? There it is. Okay, so it's not the same. It's fundamentally different. So WP-ENV is a Docker-based solution where you have a number of containers. Let's see if I have Docker running here somewhere. Where's the thing? Where's Docker? Hello, Docker. Gosh, nope. No, that's not what I want. I wanted to hit the dashboard. So if we look at the dashboard here, we have all of these things running. So this would be it here. So these are all Docker instances or Docker containers that are running. There's one for tests. CLI. I don't know if I can zoom. Oh, I can. Sorry, it's hard to read. But it's all Docker based. Okay, so that's that. WP Now is not Docker based. It's Playground based. So it's actually WASM. It's WebAssembly running in the browser. So it's fundamentally different things. WP Now uses SQLite as opposed to MySQL. But so there's a big difference between the two. WP Now is like it's pretty cool. It's great. It's the CLI version, I think, of Playground. So anyway, so no, not the same. Good question. Really good question. I'm gonna keep talking about it. Is my audio delayed again? You tell me. You tell me if my audio from my mouth looks delayed. Okay, so getting this running requires a number of things. Right? You think it's okay? Seems fine? Okay, good. We ran into some delays yesterday. Mouth looks good to me. Oh, Kevin. Whoa. Oh, Kevin. Hey now, Kevin. Looking good in those jeans. Anyways, okay, so there's a couple of things that I had to get working here. So one of the things that I did was I was doing a lot of Googling and a lot of figuring some stuff out. And so integration tests require basically a whole lot of stuff going on here. I found this cool library called where is it? Why is it not in? Oh, that, no. What the? Did I install it? Oh, no, that's right. Right here. Oh, that's in the wrong spot. So it's PHP unit, it's WP PHP unit, and if you Google that, you can see that there's a packages for this. It's pretty handy. So this is the first thing that I was using, which is pretty nice. It made it a lot easier to set this up. Now, full disclosure, I did a lot of copying and pasting to get this working. So I'm working through it myself. I'm realizing this actually is in the wrong place. So I'm going to need to put this in here because it shouldn't be. I don't need it loaded when I'm building. I just need it in my dev because it's really just for PHP Unicode. Cool. And then so I've created a test directory. I always had a unit test directory in there, so I added a integration. I'm just doing it this way, and then I have a PHP unit file which defines a bunch of things, specifically a bootstrap.php. It's also looking for tests, and I'm just gonna actually so anything in here. So what this is looking for is basically tests, something underscore test.php, and it's going to run those tests, right? And it's going to look inside the test directory, which is right here. So I have this kind of like weird nested thing, but anyways. And then, so then the Bootstrap's got a lot going on here. It's pulling in some polyfills from Yoast. It's defining a bunch of things. It's pulling in that PHP unit, the WP PHP unit stuff. It's going to pull in the autoloader, pull in the functions, all of this sort of stuff, and it gets pulled in from like the words escaping me. So when we run this, we run a fairly complicated command. So I've created this right here. So we have this integrations thing here. Let me just make this a little bit easier to read. Can you read that okay? So WP env run. We're running tests CLI. So this is we want to run a command on this container, and then we're going to pass this env thing, and that's going to say where we want to run it. And then we're running PHP unit. I'm telling it I want to use this configuration file, which is at test integrations php unit.xml. There's a lot of stuff there, right? And then for my unit tests, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm telling it to run a different configuration. So when it runs the unit test, it gets this config, which has got a different sort of setup. And then it looks for its test and it runs its test. When I run integration, it looks for this, it gets everything it needs, and then it goes. So what did I just do there? I don't know. But anyway, so now we should be able to run. I'm going to do this in iTerm because it's easier to read and clear. Yes, I want to clear that. So I'm going to so I have these I don't know what that was. I heard a ding. npm run. So let's just go test. We'll go unit. It should just run nice and quick. Ran all my unit tests. I have 20 tests in there, so it's running everything out of my unit in here. So now if I run integration, I should know better than to have. So that's going to try to run this. Oh, so it did a lot more stuff in here. Oh, okay. This is running because I actually started my containers in Xdebug mode, which I'll show you in a second. Because man, is it chef kiss, beautiful. So I'm going to just go ahead and stop this. Can I just hit start again? Will they just kill it? Oh, nice. So it'll just. I had it running, so I wanted to restart it. So instead of telling it to stop and then start, I'm just hitting start, and it's rerunning it for me, which is awesome. So we'll just wait for that to do its thing. Oh, it's downloading things. Come on now, starting WordPress. Configuring WordPress. Okay, there we go. So we jump back in here. Now I probably shouldn't. I doubt I'll get those errors again, but I've been wrong before. So we're in this. Okay, so let's see. It's doing all its things. So it's installing. It's basically setting up our database and everything. So this is telling me that there's a failure in our test, which is totally fine. So we're now running this against core. So if you wanted to use any core functionality in your test, you can do that, and it will work. And it will work as if it is actually running core. So like if you want to do stuff like, it's pretty cool because I've lost my code. So like if you wanted to do things in your test, like the test that I'm running is basically I'm testing this taxonomy query issue that I was having. So I'm just generating some code here. So I'm expecting an array of arrays that has 2 items and it has all of these things in it. And so my default query is what I'm mocking or what I'm setting up here is a test where I have an existing tax query array, and then my filter is adding another one to it. And so to do that, I have this default query. So this piece of code here, this is it's a class that I wrote for AQL that handles all the params generation. I can show you. I'll take you through that. So, sorry, includes. So if I look at here, what it does, I kind of like it. I think it's a little bit ingenious. Not that's an arrogant thing to say, but I think it's fun. Anyhow, so we have custom params, custom args, and default params. So what it takes is it takes whatever the block is providing. So like the default stuff that would come from the query loop block that's underlying our advanced query loop. And then these are the custom parameters that have been added in by my block. And then what it does is it processes all these things based on the existence of these traits. So we look for these known params, and then each trait is going to manage that particular portion. So adding new things is fairly straightforward. I don't have to do much to the class other than just use a trait, add that trait to it. And it's connected via this thing. So like, for example, in the tax query, it's going to look, so in my known params, when it runs the process all, it's going to say, excuse me, it's going to have, it's going to look for the param name. So tax query, if it has a custom param called tax query, then it's going to dynamically call a function called process underscore and then whatever that name is. So in my tax query, I've got a function called parse tax query. So it all gets connected that way. So in here we have tax query. So it's going to look for a function or a method called parse tax query, and it's going to run it. So that's how that works. But at the end of the whole thing, in my actual query loop, because there's two places that this needs to be affected, on the front end and in the block editor. So those are two different hooks. So for example, updating the query on the front end requires me to run a pre-render block hook, and then inside this query loop block query vars thing, I'm instantiating my query params generator, getting the default query, getting the block query. So this is like everything from in there, and then I'm processing it all, and then I'm getting the args, and then I'm passing them through a filter here, and I'm doing this in 2 places. Which has got me thinking that perhaps it might be a better idea to do this in a single place, because I have all of these things available inside the class. So I'm wondering if I could do this. I don't like the idea of coupling my class to WordPress core, but honestly, where else is it going to run? So I don't know if it's really a big deal. I don't know. Love to hear some thoughts on that. So basically what I'm doing is I'm redoing this part inside my test, which is somewhere in here. So I'm getting my query params, right? And then I'm adding the filter that will be run, then I'm processing everything, and then I'm doing this, and then I'm actually filtering, and then I'm testing to see if things got added the way that they were supposed to have gotten added. And these tests are failing, so let's figure out why that is and go from there. I don't know why I did that. That sounded weird. Sorry. Okay. So advanced query loop testing integration AQL filter test tax query failed asserting the 2 arrays are equal. Expected is this, and it actually got that. That's weird. So let's see why that is. So tax query should be an array. Let's look at WP query, because this is what we're gonna need here. Y'all went quiet on me. Did I just bore everyone to death? To death, as my kid would say. Taxonomy, tax query. It's an array. Yeah, Kevin's asleep. Of course. Well, wake up. Okay, so we got relation. We got. So it should be an array, right? We should have. Oh, of course, these are just formatted so well. Why is that formatted so crappy? Okay, so post. Okay, tax query is an array, and it's an array, and it's an array. Not yet. I haven't set one up to run the integration test. That's going to be. I do have one set to run the. I have one set to run the unit tests, but not the integration tests. I haven't gone down that road yet, because I'm not sure. Because there's so much more setup involved. I need an actual WordPress installation. I'll have to get that figured out, but I haven't done that yet. Okay, so what is happening here? All right, so if I just don't do this, I'm going to just take this off for now. I just want to see what gets returned. And if I rerun these tests, I'm just going to run it again. So is it not getting added? Let me just say assert equals here. Well, what this is saying is, so the expected is the dashes. So this is expecting that, and it didn't get it. That's what I think is happening here, which makes sense because I'm just returning. So this is the data that I'm sending it, right? So that makes sense, right? This should be returning, and this is what it's looking for. So this is missing, which totally makes sense. If I were to get rid of this and run it, I think what's going to happen here, I think we'll get a pass. There we go. So, okay, so that makes a total sense. So, okay. So we'll put that back in, right? Because this is what we're looking for, right? And then so let's take a look at this. So this is tax query. Oh, I think I know what's going on here. I think I screwed that up. I think I have one too many arrays in here. These nested arrays, man. You know what I'm saying? Because what this is doing, this is essentially pushing this onto this. And why? Oh. Okay, I think this is going to pass now. So let's see. I might be wrong though. Okay, so why did that fail? Oh, okay. What did I change it to? Yeah, equals. Is that right? I can't remember what I had in there before. Because I don't want this. I don't. Okay. So this should be pushing this onto the end, and it should match that, right? I wonder if I'm using the wrong test, the wrong assertion. Let's see. Okay, so let me try this. So this filtered args should be everything. I wonder if I'm just getting. I think I just set my test up poorly. Let's just look here. What does equals canonicalizing mean here? All right. What am I doing? I think part of my problem here is that maybe I need to be using a different assertion there. See, that's just weird. So the actual. Okay, PHP unit assert array equals this is what it's telling me what to do here. Assert equals well, that's annoying. Assert, no, I don't care about that. Let's see. Iterable assert. I wonder if I could use. I wonder if I can use contains. I wonder if I could use that. I feel like this is this is super annoying. I had to figure out a way to do this because there's a lot of arrays in here. So let's do assert contains. Let's just try that one. I'm just going to do an assertion in here. Assert contains. Let's see. I don't know if this is going to be a true test or not. Let's just see. This is weird. Okay. Like, what is the final? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do a quick little var dump, see what that is, because it should be correct. I'm gonna I'm gonna see what that is. 1 second here. Tests are difficult. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, it's like you spend a lot of time setting this up, and then you're like fighting against things a little bit. So here's what we have. Okay, we have the first item is taxonomy slug. Sorry, is taxonomy blah blah blah. So that's correct. So I don't know why that's failing. So maybe what I need to do, maybe what I need to do is do this, and then do that, because I really don't care about anything else in this array. So let's see. I don't think it's the canonicalizing, whatever however the hell you say that word. Still telling me that's not. I think same might be more forgiving. I don't know. Expected args. Expected actual. This is annoying. Okay, let's try something different. Let's go assert the same that this is 0 matches 0 and 1 matches 1. Let's see if that does it. Is this getting... Weird, because did that pass? I got one test, one assertion. No, that's wrong. There was more than two. There was more than one assertion in there. What? What? Okay, I need to try something here. Something's weird here. It's true. I'm going to set this to true. This should pass. If this doesn't pass, we got problems. Okay, so that is right. So I want a var dump. What does this look like? Nope. Var dump that. Testing. Love testing. Okay. I don't know if this is gonna work. Is that gonna yell at me? I'll var dump you. Okay, so that is exactly what we want. That is exactly correct, right? So if I do, wait, that's not right. That's not right. No. What? Expected query vars 0 should be that. Is that correct? Yes. Filtered query vars 0 is giving me the second one. Is there a 1? Ah, I think we may have figured out our issue here. So filtered tax query is missing. What? Where's query args coming from? Weird. Okay, so I'm going to look at filtered query, the full array. See, this is interesting because this is missing that first thing. So why is it missing the first thing? So let's look at so default query should be what is getting sent in there, right? There. So default query should be that. Yeah. Let's see. Apply filters. So it's not getting in there. It's not getting in there. I think we've just discovered an issue with the way that I'm doing these filters. So because default query should come from the block, right? But if block query has, okay, let's try something. Let's try something here. I'm gonna do this, right? Cottage time. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. So I bet now block query. I wonder if that, because I don't know. Let's just check. I think I might have found an issue with the way that I'm doing my filters. That's really strange. Okay, so default query. Okay, so that is actually not getting what it needs to get. So when I run the filters, what I think I need I need 3. I think I need to actually Huh. Okay. Okay. See, this is why we do tests. Get query args right here. Let's see what that does. Because let's see what that does. That's a good question, Kev. We're gonna see where this is falling apart because something is not. The filter's not getting all the information it gets, so there's nothing in there. So this custom args. Okay, so the custom args. Oops. All right. So this is. All right, so, okay, so in a case where I want to filter this stuff, I don't know what keeps, something keeps blinging. I don't know what it is. It's my phone. I don't know. Okay, so this is striking me as a potential issue with the way that I'm doing this because the way the filters work is it gets all these parameters, but the query args are just the custom ones, and these are the ones that come from the block itself. I'm going to change some of these. This is going to be let me look that up again. So default query, block query. Okay. Okay. Default params, custom. So okay. So this, okay. So I'm gonna read params from block. This is custom params from AQL. All right. So that's what that's gonna be. So the default is there. And then this is the custom params from AQL, which what was in there before? Okay, so the test that I'm trying to run here is that. No, the custom args is the constructors is right. So there's a couple of tests here that I can set up. So this stuff comes from the block itself. So if we go over to where my here and here and here and here and here and posts, all posts, taxonomy parse. Okay, just ignore that. I fixed that. Oh, you know what? I think I have to fix that. 1 second. I'm going to just go get checkout. No, I'm gonna get merge trunk because I fixed all that. Oh, get stash. Get stash. Let's put that back. Okay, I'm just gonna do it this way. Stash include untracked. Sure. And then get merge trunk. Cool. And just reapply that stash again. Stash, apply stash, and this is going to be here. Yeah, I released in my last plugin. I released some things that needed. There was some errors that I fixed. Anyhow, so if we click on this and I reset these queries, but I pretty sure if I go into my filters. Taxonomies, I'll do whatever, categorized, right? I save that. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen here is I have this thing called tax query, and then I have another one called tax query. So, That's also potentially exposing a bug that I need to work out. So, right, okay. So I think what I need to be testing is something slightly different here. So I'm not going to send any params from the block right now, because that is a different thing. So combining the taxonomy query is going to be a little bit more complicated there. So this is not really what I'm testing. So at this point, this is what it should be getting, right? Because query args is, when I call this, it generates all of the custom stuff. But let's just confirm that now. We'll run this. We should have that. I don't know why it looks like that, but it looks like that. And so now let's take a look at what this is. So I'm hoping that this is working. I might have just discovered a massive bug in all of my stuff. What is this? What is this? Undefined block something or other. Oh, not block query. This would be that. This would be the default from there. Let's try that again. Oops. Okay. So we have this, but we don't have both now. Do I have this set up wrong? Where does queries come parse text queries? Maybe I'm just expecting my data to be different. Something's not right. You know it's bad when you don't know how your own plugin works. So let's take a look at this. Queries. Oh! Ha ha ha! I know what I'm doing wrong. I'll show you what I'm doing wrong. I need to grab that. Grab this. So I'm setting up my input data incorrectly because it's not this at all. In fact, it's much different. It looks more like this. Tax query. So I'm going to convert this. Let's see. Can no, I need a new one. New chat. Convert this to PHP array. Let's see what happens. I'm using Cursor AI and it's a lot of fun. I believe the issue that I have is that I did not set my test data up correctly. Holy smokes, I could have been done by now. Okay, I'll take it. Accept. So So what I need is I'm going to take this and exit that. I'm going to do this, ba-bomb, right? So this is the data that I need. Right? Why is this yelling at me? Oh, boom, 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 boom. So, oh no, look at this. Okay, still don't. What? Reject. Get the hell out of here. Okay, that's what I want. What? Oh, right, like this, right? Holy crap. This has got to stop. This has got to stop. Stop. The reject. Okay, so this, because when I'm, so when I'm processing this, it looks for queries and it makes each one of these queries a thing. So now if I dump, Kevin, you and your, this should give me a bunch of queries. There we go. Now we've got queries. That's excellent. Operator is in. Okay, so we've got relation. Is the relation in there now, though? I don't see the relation in there. I don't know why the relation's getting split out, but let's look. Maybe it's doing something in here. Handle relation parameter. Oh, maybe I'm just not. Oh, strange. Okay. I think that is not being processed. I don't think. Let me look. Let me look here. More bugs. Yeah. Oh, don't you start with me. It's not a bug. It's a feature. Let me just see in here. So advanced mode. Oh, okay. Right. I'm not actually using. I don't think the processor is using this right now. So this is what I want. We're gonna have this, right? So this will be. So what gets spit out? What gets spit out when it's done? So the expectation is that, that thing will turn into basically category terms in one, bool, all this sort of stuff. So it turns into that. So then, okay, so let me just check this. Taxonomy is going to be category. Terms is an array. It's going to be one. All right. Include children is going to be true. Right, so category operators in. Why is this yelling at me? Ugh. All right, so that should be that. So now my guess is that if I compare if I compare the first two, no, same. So if I compare the first entry to the first entry of what comes out, so basically I should get this. This should pass, I think. Lord of Blood, hi, how's it going? Oh, that didn't pass, but why I feel? Oh, do I have slug in there? I don't need that. That doesn't need to be in there. That's incorrect. So in my experience with testing, like unit tests, integrate. Yay! We have a passing test. My experience with this is that you spend a lot of time crafting your testing data so that it works, so that it makes sense. It does actually, it definitely exposes a lot of bugs. So, okay, so this is good. So that means that this is correct of what is going to come out of here. So, yeah. So okay, so now the plan, hopefully. So this is now returning. So, oh yes, thanks, Cav. You're the best for doing that. So right now I'm var dumping out what is getting passed to the filter. So let's see what's getting passed to the filter, and it actually looks correct. So we're getting everything in there, right? So that's looking good. Looking good. So now let's see what gets dumped out of our filtered things here. All right. I can probably just get rid of this now. We're going to dump out what gets thrown in here. And this is a thing. Okay. So this looks good. So now we've got, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. So now if I ever find cursor, if I come in here now and I compare tax query, so assert same expects that the first item is going to be what you're expecting, and the second item is the actual result of your test. So I should be able to assert that both of these match, right? So if I clear this with a little luck, woo, we have a passing test. That's beautiful. Okay, so that makes me very, very, very happy. So that's pretty cool. So that means that that's okay, but we've definitely exposed an issue with the way that I'm working with these filters, because this is the custom stuff, right? And this is the stuff that comes from the block. And well, you know, the filter does expose these things, right? So if we do 10 and 3, we'll have access to default params, and then I can't remember what the third one is. I think the third one is context, right? So we do have access to default params in there. So I don't know if this is an issue with, like, for example, like for the tax query, what I'm not accounting for is there anything in the default params that need to be turned into the tax query? Because, like, for example, we could definitely have some stuff in here, but you could also have, oh no, get out of here. You could also have some stuff in the filters, which I can never find the filters. Where'd they go? Filters in here, right? So we could also have tags in here, which do I have a bunch of categories. So this is that, but it's also in my taxonomy builder. It's only got that, right? So it's like, so if I do category 12, right? So I've got a bit of a conflict going in here. So I think that this has exposed a bit of a thing that I need to deal with, right? So we have tax query, which has got categories 3. Then I've also got tax query. So I don't think I'm not actually I'm adding this tax query to this tax query, but I'm not actually accounting for any of this stuff in my plugin. So that's a thing that is, I don't know if I want to do that. I feel like people just would use the taxonomy builder and that would be good, but this could potentially do some weird stuff. And I wish I could just turn those filters off, but alas, I cannot. Okay, so this is doing kind of what it would. What's this? That's fine. So that looks like it's correct. So in here, right here. Okay, when modifying the query args using the AQL phrases, they merge overwrites the tax query and query args. This guy, okay, so this guy was basically just setting. So this was the original code that he sent me, and so based on this test. The array merge in the query loop block. Okay, so maybe there's another step in here that I need to look at. Okay, so let's look. So there is an array merge that happens. So let's look at that. includes and not in Dow in here. So there's an array merge that happens in, where is he saying? In here. So I'm merging these default query, filter query vars. Okay. Maybe I need to replicate that then. So I go array merge. See what happens there. That still passes. But let's see how he's describing this test. Query args. This causes when custom tags are added by filters to quote below. So my first thought was that he was actually just overriding it himself because he's just resetting tax query to whatever this array is, right? So I don't know if he's trying to add to it or not. So my response was, well, you should be adding to it, not overriding it. Modify the code and test it in a bit more common example. Edit my filter function to make it robust. Thanks for the input. Okay, so he's using, okay, so this is inherited, whatever. So it's not inherited. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, the inherited is whether or not you're using the custom or the default query type. So this is the additional args that he's doing, right? So if it's set, then he's going to add it. Otherwise, he's just going to set it. Okay. When the filter returns, query the default query and filter query args are merged. During debugging, I found that even if default query has a tag, so the key doesn't mean that query args is passed. Oh, okay. So I think he's discovered the same bug that we just ran into. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I think this is a bigger issue than that. Okay. I think what's happening here is I need to process everything to make it run correctly, if that makes sense. So in my trait and in tax query, like the thing I'm not accounting for is existing stuff. I don't know how to fix this. I'm not sure. So this stuff, like to his point, query args doesn't necessarily have everything that's in default params from block. So like, for example, to test that, you can write another test for this. This is text. Tax query, this is like add items to custom tax query. Okay, I'm trying to think of the best way to test this. Why is it? Oh, I need a new file. So why doesn't it give me a new file? Okay. So I should probably do public. Okay. This is not super helpful. I'm just going to keep doing this. See what it does. It just keeps doing stuff. All right. Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay. There's nothing helpful but what it's doing right now. Okay, so I just want this function. I got to think it through though. I got to think about how this would work. So we have default params from block. So let's try something. Okay, I have an idea. Okay, so I'm gonna jump in here. I'm going to npx start. I'm just gonna keep doing this till I get the one I want. It's not doing it. I got npx. Oh god. And then I'm gonna go x debug. I think that's going to start it with xdebug, which is great because I'm gonna get into the tax query thing and see what's actually happening in there with this particular. So that runs. So what I've set up in here, where is it? In here is I've got basically something that's got both, right? So save that. So I'm going to wait for this to run up. And then hopefully in my tax query, I should be able to drop a little breakpoint there. Is that going? Okay, so debug. Let's see. So if I come over here now and refresh this, there we go. So this was phenomenally simple to set up by the by. The default params have got tax query. Tax query, custom params is coming in there. Category 1, 3, so that's coming in there. So I've got custom params, is all this stuff. So actually, okay, so actually there is, so the tax query is coming in here. So I think what I need to do is I think I need to generate that. There's there's two issues here at hand. I think the default stuff needs to get, I think what I need to have output at the end of it all is when it gets filtered. I think query arg should be like everything. It should be the entire, everything that's built, right? If you're only using the AQL, then that'll be the case, because like in this case, if I'm only building stuff with tax query, it gets added into this, right? So as I build more tax query stuff, it's going to show up in this tax. I don't know if you can see that or not. It shows up in this tax query parameter. But in the case of like you've added something with a filter, it's going to be in here. So I think I need to have a process that merges these two things. I think that's because otherwise the filter is going to be inaccurate. Oh, this opens up another can of worms, because then because this is triggered by that filter thing, right? Stop. This is triggered by the filter tool control, right? Like one of these, and this is controlled separately. So the thing is, no, I know how to do this. What I'm going to do is, I think what I have to do is connect these two things, right? Because if I add a new query, I can do it for tags, right? So like this and this should be reflective of each other. because like the way that I could do it is, I don't know if I actually have access to this, unfortunately, but no, I do. I can have the taxonomy builder. I can have the taxonomy builder be aware of that and then just do what it needs to do in there. I don't have time for that today, though. I have a hard stop at noon, which sucks, but okay. Yeah, okay. I wish I could just deactivate these things because it'd be so much easier. But if I make these connected, like at least for tags and taxonomy or in categories, then that will work to do that. Let's look in not in better. Let's look in source. Let's look in components. Let's look in single taxonomy. No, taxonomy query control. So this is going to be this, and then because I can pull out, so there's tax query in here, right? And then there's, I could pull out the actual like tax query from here, which I don't know what it is, if it's an array or what it's supposed to be, but we can look at that. Oh, we can look at that. No, what am I doing here? This is what I'm doing here. Code editor. Tax query is okay. I'm gonna have to figure that out because there's definitely a bunch of moving parts for this. But anyways, before I go, so I've set up a basic integration test. I'm super happy with this because this is going to allow me to get deeper into these filters and really start to like check to make sure that all this stuff is working the way I think it is. Well, yes, the block attribute can be removed with a filter for sure. But the problem we have here is that. But then I think I've nested this. Oh no, I haven't. So I could remove tax query. I could get rid of that, but that I'm pretty sure that control is going to bring it back. And I don't really want to break the connection. I don't want the control. Like, I don't want that filter. So I don't know. Actually, that's a really great question. I don't know if that filter, I assume that these filters are not enabled via block JSON or anything. I think they're just always going to be there. We can test this real quick though. Can we test this real quick? Let's see. Index. Controls. Am I actually filtering any of this stuff? Register block type, AQL transforms. No, it's fine. It's fine. I think that I'm gonna have to see. I don't think that it's connected to a control, but we can take a look. I think I can probably figure that out. So if I look in packages, block library, the source, I'm gonna look for query. Yes, I know the alphabet. Shut up. Let's look at block JSON. I don't think there's anything in here. Query. So there's that. And yeah, I don't see any controls in here, but let's look in edit. Let's look in taxonomy controls. Yeah, see, it's just pulling it out. Use taxonomies post type. Oh, okay. So that's returning null if there's no taxonomies associated with the post type, which makes sense. But otherwise, I don't think there's any way of getting rid of it. This is unfortunate because it'd be really nice if there was a way to short circuit some of this stuff. The only way I could do it is to like deregister things, but Well, there's that too. Like I don't want to start breaking all of this, and because this is because AQL is a block variation, if people uninstall the plugin or people want to, if they uninstall the plugin, they're going to lose a bunch of functionality anyways. But if they're for whatever reason using those filters, that should persist as well. So it's too bad that I can't just turn that off, but I cannot. It looks like at this stage of the game. Anyhow, okay. Anyways, I wanted to show how I have what am I doing here? No, get out of here. I'm just gonna not do that. I set up Xdebug. It was actually super duper simple. So in my repository here, Advanced Query Loop, I have a VS Code folder. I have a launch in there, and all I did was add this configuration to it. This is all pretty standard stuff. This came right out of the WP-ENV. I thought I had WP-ENV open. I guess I didn't. Okay, so ENV, the handbook here. So Xdebug, using Xdebug. I set this up. It took 5 minutes. It was actually way easier than it usually is. So you just run it with Xdebug, and then you add this to your configurations. This is a little bit confusing because if you're not familiar with how this works in VS Code, you actually put it inside of the configurations array, and then in there, and then I jumped over here. Now I have this Debug Advanced Query Loop option. I click that button. I drop a breakpoint literally anywhere I want it to be, and then when you refresh the page over here, I'm going to reload that. It will hit your breakpoints. And in VS Code, at least, you can do some pretty cool things. So there was a bug that I was tracking down yesterday that was basically firing a notice, and I wasn't sure where it was being fired, or a warning or something. And so I just set my breakpoints. I'm going to move my face, my big stupid face here. I set my breakpoints here to run. So if a notice is fired, a warning is fired, or an error is fired, it will stop. And it showed me exactly where the issue was. It actually ended up being right in here because I wasn't checking to see if the term existed before trying to get the ID of it. And yeah, it was really easy to find. And it was super simple to set up, like much more easy than I've found in other places. But it requires the use of WP-ENV running with the debug, over here, running with Xdebug flag. So yeah. Yeah. Any questions about any of the things? I'm gonna commit this all to a branch on my repository, which I will probably just do this right now. Integration tests setup and first test is passing. Yay! So I'll do that. I'm just going to do all this stuff. So if you want to grab this for your own repository, you can. I'll just get this branch for you right now. Drop it in the thing. The advanced query loop, advanced query loop, advanced query loop. Come on, give me the branch. Give me the branch. I'll do a pull request so we can all find it. Adding integration tests. Create pull request. So the branch is here. If you want to take a look at, it's just called feed. Anyways, I'll just give you the pull request. You're welcome to steal whatever code you want out of there. The branch itself, though, I'll get it too. I'll get it too. Why not? You know, why not? Integration tests. It's this branch. So yeah, if this helps, cool. If not, you know, whatever. That's kidding. And I just released the latest version of 4.1. Well, 4.1. So there's a couple of things in here, a couple of bug fixes, which is really great. There was a bug where if you were using this as an editor, it was actually crashing, and that's because I just assumed everyone was admin, which is a really dumb thing to assume. So I fixed that, and I fixed that there was a warning when a term didn't exist. But also now in the latest version, if you go into in here, for example, I gotta stop this. Get that to run. So now what happens is if you are in Advanced Query Loop, I think I have to build. I'm just gonna build this because I don't think it'll work otherwise. Cool. Okay, it's building. So if you I have this and you don't, and you take the pagination block out, what it's going to actually do is it's going to set no found. We have to refresh now that I've rebuilt. What should be happening, and maybe I just broke it, is that it should be taking the pagination out will set no found rows to be true, which is so this is saying that there's oh no, oh my god, now what? Okay, weird. So what should be happening is disable pagination. Should be getting set to true. Of course, it's not working now. Worked in the pull request. I don't know what's going on. What is going on? Params should be getting set to true. Okay, I'll have to fix that. Stupid. Time for an end-to-end test. Exactly. Well, what should be happening though is when that's removed, it's supposed to turn off no found rows. And the reason I do that is because if you're not using pagination, there's a in WP query, which I think I replaced it. In WP query, there is a caching parameters. No. Find it. No found rows. So there's this no found rows thing, which is super helpful. Not in there. Get out of here. So if you set it to true, what it does is it bypasses a bunch of SQL queries. So basically, when you have a WP query, what it's going to check is based on your query, it's going to tell you what page you're on and how many posts there are of that query, and then it will generate your page 1 of 10, right? But if you're not using any of that pagination, it actually does a whole lot of unnecessary MySQL things, calculations. So by saying no found rows, it basically turns all that off and speeds your query up. So I'll double check and see what's going on there, but it should have been checking this to see that it should have been checking to see that it's in there or not in there and fixing it or not or whatever, or adjusting it. Anyways, it worked in the pull request, so I'll have to take another look. Anyway, I'm gonna drop off. I got a meeting in 7 minutes, but I will let you all go, and I will see you all next week. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and thanks for the sub, Titus, which I didn't see before, and thanks for the gifting of the subs and all those things. Thank you so much. Awesome. Jay Welly, thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Good stream. You're a good stream watcher. Carolina, you can come to any one of my streams anytime. I'm going to add you to the VIP list, so it'll butcher your name when you show up. So anyways, awesome. Thanks all. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye.